Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
You'd have to be living in a bubble to be unaffected by today's political process and what's going on around us. But it really seems like everyone's looking for a hero, that man on the white horse, the one our founders warned us against. If you have looked at the Constitution, it gives us a safety mechanism to maintain dispersed power at the state level, to keep us as states as sovereigns and as individuals as sovereigns. The ultimate hero for saving the republic relies with us, the people, because America's problems cannot and will not be fixed by one person. Cruz, Trump, Kasich, is that his name, from Ohio? I'm just kidding. It's going to take all of us, every single one of us who loves liberty, believes in the Constitution and America's founding, to unite under the provision, namely Article 5, because that is what is going to enable you and me together through our states to stop the runaway federal government. We can't expect Donald Trump to do that or Ted Cruz to do that. They just can't do it alone as one person. And our founders made sure the president would not have that kind of power. So this constitutional authority, it makes the states the final champions and purveyors of liberty. The subject of an Article 5 convention is an amending convention for the states to get together to propose amendments under a specific subject or topic, right? It's an opportunity to reform. Let me say that again. Article 5, calling for a convention of the states to propose amendments, is an opportunity for us to reform the federal government Leviathan. How awesome is that, right? Of course, we've got tons of endorsements, including the Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who endorsed the Convention of States effort. And using Article 5, he's pledged his full resources and urged legislators in Texas that this will be one of his highest priorities in the next legislative session in Texas. But there's a fear, as we are seeing throughout the country, pockets of fear. Fear is over-exaggerated and is not a sufficient reason to reject an Article 5 amending convention. Fear is not the reason to reject the tool the founders put inside the Constitution for you and me to have recourse, not if, but when the federal government became abusive. Fear is not compatible with logical, reasoned decision-making because it leads to a paranoid distrust of people around us who often share the core values that we seek to protect. Do you realize that the boogeyman isn't us on the right? It isn't us who share those conservative core values. The boogeyman is 535 legislators sitting on Capitol Hill. It's lifetime appointments to federal judgeships. It's a president who thinks he can use his phone and his pen to create legislative authority. It is to 7 people or 9 judges in black robes on the Supreme Court who think they know and can dictate rules to us and make us follow Supreme Court doctrine as though it was law. Fear. Fear is not compatible with logical, reasoned decision-making. The boogeyman, folks, is 80,000 pages of rules and regulations that punish small businesses and medium-sized businesses, all businesses for that matter, ranchers, agriculturalists, farmers, you and me. The boogeyman is rules and regulations that are stifling our growth as a nation. The boogeyman is the IRS, who's using taxation to punish, to find out the opposition for those who don't believe the way that the current administration believes. The boogeyman is those who oppose the people's rule and want the federal government to rule over the people. When is enough enough? Is it 90,000 pages of regulation and 90% tax on the people? Is it 100,000 pages of regulation? What is it? The question is, what's your legacy? You need to think about leaving a legacy of your life that's amounted to something, right? What is our God-given destiny as people, as a nation? Are we going to realize this country was founded for us? The Constitution belongs to us. The White House is ours. Capitol Hill is ours. This nation belongs to you and me from sea to shining sea. I urge you, look at the Convention of States, conventionofstates.com. We are the solution to unite, to educate those around us on the Constitution, and to reclaim and restore our constitutional way of life and self-governance. It is a time for our choosing, as Ronald Reagan said. Here we are 30 years later at the same time. Don't let this opportunity pass you by to be able to stand up, speak up, and show up. Your voice, your vote still matters, but the Constitution tells you you can do even more. So go to conventionofstates.com and sign up in your state. Tell me what you think at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio. Have a great week, Patriots. Remember, your voice, your vote, and Article 5 matters for reclaiming constitutional self-governance. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm absolutely befuddled by politics and what to talk about this week. I've been having a running argument with myself about presidential politics for months now. Despite having held two offices, senator and state treasurer, I am an outsider, an anti-establishment kind of conservative. The two campaigns I lost were in primaries, one for governor, in which the entire establishment of Missouri was against me. I almost beat my opponent, a U.S. congressman. The establishment didn't like me because they couldn't control me. And the truth is, if I would have won the GOP primary, they never would have supported me. Maybe lip service and a few token contributions, but that's it. That is their modus operandi. My U.S. Senate primary was different because there was a self-funder who had never run for office, a U.S. congressman, the infamous Todd Akin, and myself. Suddenly, I became the so-called career politician and part of the establishment, even though there was absolutely no truth in that statement. The self-funder, like Trump, spent $10 million convincing the voters with negative ads that I was a horrible person. All of the Washington cartel, as Cruz calls it, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the Club for Growth, and all the other groups who have had an interest in beating Claire McCaskill, refused to help me because they didn't really want me, because I wouldn't be their tool. So they sat back and they said, oh, any of us can beat Claire McCaskill because she's ripe for defeat. I told them that wasn't true, that Akin can't beat her because he will say something stupid. And so the story goes. A self-funder ran $10 million worth of negative ads against me. Neither he nor I won. Akin won, and of course went on to make the ridiculous comment about rape, and Claire McCaskill is still in the U.S. Senate. I see the same thing happening again, only this time the self-funder wins the nomination. The establishment types will never support Trump for president. They will vote for Hillary before they vote for Trump, even though they may pay lip service to him, because that's what they do. And guess what? I'm afraid we'll end up having Hillary Clinton as president. This is Sarah Steelman for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Jan Morgan. And thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day. Get well, Todd, and happy Easter.